It's 7 a.m. in Chicago, and Son of Sparda, he joined us. Okay,
Hey,
let's
how you
start
doing,
the discussion.
man?
How's everyone doing?
Good,
Um,
man.
I, I,
The
I,
man
Yeah,
with the
we're
many
pretty good.
masks.
I don't think the sun's completely out yet, but we'll make it work.
Inshallah. Inshallah. Okay, guys, this episode is really important because it comes at a time when we have seen huge developments occurring at this year's San Diego Comic Con, not just from movies or animation, but also from comic books perspective. At the same time, we are going to be
Yep.
talking about the biggest box office success, maybe for this entire decade, if you will. I'm talking about Spider-Man. And then we're also going to be touching upon the Transformers 1986 movies 40th anniversary, along with we will be discussing X-Men 97 season 2, which completed last night, sorry, the night before. My adventures with Superman, Batman the Cape Crusader. And with us, as you have already been introduced to, we are joined by Super M and Frank Castle from Riyadh, both very well-known members of Arabic MDC team, along with Son of Sparda, who has joined us
Think-
all the way from Chicago, Illinois. So, guys, let's start with San Diego Comic Con. Uh, what has been your biggest take when it comes to this year's San Diego Comic Con? I'm gonna ask Frank to lead the discussion in this.
I need help from you guys to make me remember because it's been what, like 2 weeks, I guess.
Yes,
Like, yeah. So what was the biggest reveal?
The
they
Avengers stuff. Yeah.
Super M. Please continue.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not having a better remembering of what happened, but I loved what they introduced Ryan Gosling as the
Ghost
new
Rider.
Ghost Rider. Yeah,
Yes, yes,
it's
yes,
pretty
yes.
cool, man. I didn't catch up the Ghost Rider era. I'm younger than that, but having Ryan Gosling on the big screen on Marvel, I mean, come on, who wouldn't like it?
Okay, so Super M,
Yeah.
your biggest take is the announcement for Ghost Rider. Frank, can you recall something, or should we move to Son of Sparda?
Like Muhammad said, but the thing is that I watched the last Ghost Rider movie with the legend Nicolas Cage, and to be honest, that was so fun. Nicolas Cage, whenever Nicolas Cage do something, he do it with his own version. That's what I love about him. And
Okay,
when he did Ghost Rider, when he's doing like Spider Noir right now, Nicolas Cage, maybe people like will find him like lame or like fun in a bad way, but like for me, it's all about like nostalgia and how he did his work before. So, but what I'm expecting from Ghost Rider from Ryan Gosling, that it should be a good movie because Ryan Gosling contacted Marvel, said, please let me do the Ghost Rider movie. So that will be a lot of pressure for Ryan Gosling, and I think it will be like a good pressure to make them make a good, really good movie, and to give the Ghost Rider fans what they want.
Son of Sparda.
Yo, thank you guys for having me. Again, it's a little early, so forgive me on this side of the world. It's a little early in the morning, but definitely the Avenger stuff. Of course, for the people there, as you guys know, it's a time-honored dream. I think for any comic book fan to attend San Diego Comic Con for things like the stuff that happened there.
Yeah.
We had we had Ryan Reynolds dress up in his Deadpool costume and walk around the show floor. People had no idea it was him. People were taking pictures, and afterwards found out it was him. I think it was the greatest pleasure in the world to find out you were taking your picture with one of the biggest movie stars. Um, so that was a thing. We got two big announcements from Marvel about Ghost Rider and Black Panther 3. So that was pretty amazing. DC only had a Green Lantern panel. I'm surprised they didn't do more. They didn't go around and say, this is our plan for the next couple of years. Because I don't think they have any movie announcements after Man of Tomorrow. So would have been nice for them to say, we also have something planned for 2028, but nothing came about.
Okay. DC, however, swept the floor in the comics arena. And
Yes.
before I start with that, because I'm going to be mentioning all the winners, because there is another Ghost Rider related milestone that happened during the award ceremony. But to all our viewers, if you guys want to have a little bit of a detailed discussion with our panelists, make sure that you subscribe to the Patreon, because after this transmission ends, we will move to Patreon where you can easily have uh, full of spoiler discussions, any other things that you wanted to ask about SDCC, comics, TV, animation, whatever have you. So, uh, let me take out the list because I have compiled the list for the winners of Eisner Awards and the Inkpot Awards. So, first of all, DC won the Best Continuing Series for Absolute Batman by Scott Snyder and Nick Dragotta. Best Limited Series, Absolute
Well
Martian
deserved.
Manhunter. Come again?
Well deserved.
Well deserved. Okay. Best Limited Series, Absolute Martian Manhunter by Denise Camp and Javier Rodriguez. Then we have the Best Single Issue One Shot, Absolute Batman Annual Number One, which was written by Daniel Warren Johnson, of all people. Best Graphic Album Reprint, Superman's Pal Jimmy Olsen, the Deluxe Edition by Matt Fraction. Best Anthology, and Best Writer, Jamal Campbell for Zatanna. Best Penciler, Javier Rodriguez
Okay.
for Martian Manhunter. Best Cover Artist, again, Javier Rodriguez for Absolute Martian Manhunter, Batman and Robin, Year One, number seven, The New Gods, number eight. Best Coloring, Jordi Belair for Absolute Wonder Woman and some other independent works that was done. Best Lettering, Hassan Otsman El How for Absolute Martian Manhunter, DCKO, The Flash, Green Arrow, Poison Ivy. Amazing. Marvel only won one award, one Eisner Award, which was for the best publication for early readers. It's called All the Hulk Feels by Dan Santak. Okay, now, as you are all aware, Inkpot Awards honorees included quite a lot of names, such as Kelly Sue DeConnick. I'm not very much of a huge fan of her, but anyways, congratulations to her. We had Steve Butler, the fan favorite artist for The Amazing Spider-Man. We have Javier Fernandez, the legend behind Nightwing and Batman and other Detective Comics issues. Sean Martinborough for Batman and Luke Cage, and the Ghost Rider, the Ghost Rider development that we had for Inkpot Awards was Howard Mackey, the guy who co-created Danny Ketch in the 90s, Johnny Blaze's stepbrother. Okay, and he's also responsible for a lot of amazing Spider-Man issues, Mutant X, X Factor, the Gambit Limited series with Tim Sale, I believe. He did that in the 90s. He is by far the biggest name, in my opinion, for Inkpot Awards, but sadly, it didn't get the coverage that it deserved. So these are the comics ones. Son of Sparda, what were the biggest reveals when it came to collectibles, toys, action figures?
I'm glad you asked. So, probably one of the leading companies in 1/6 scale figurines, Hot Toys, They're starting to get a little bit of competition from other companies like InArt, but they made some major announcements on the very last day. They had their own timer, their Doomsday timer, and on Sunday, the very last day, they announced a bunch of figurines. We're gonna put up some pictures later here in post, but it's gonna be they had Cyclops, they had Magneto, Ian McKellen's Magneto, they had Professor X, Patrick Stewart, of course. Um, I'm drawing a blank. Who else? We had Gambit, and we had Doctor Doom and Doctor Doom's throne. So, and
Yes.
they had a prototype for Beast. So much to look forward to in terms of collecting. Each one of these guys, each one of these figures from the movie comes with their own part of a Sentinel base. So I believe Doctor Doom also not the so the throne gets sold separately. Doctor Doom himself gets sold with a hand of a Sentinel, and it looks pretty cool. I'm going to give that to my Magneto, one of the Magnetos. I have a comic book Magneto, and this is going to be my movie Magneto.
Okay. And anything for Transformers?
Oh my gosh. So, for those of you who may not have heard, this is the 40th anniversary this year for the 1986 animated movie where they killed Optimus Prime. You bastards. Uh, um, what they did is company RoboSen has been making these self-transforming toys. They transform, they move around, they talk, they walk, they do stuff. So they made the same one, but in the gray colors with a little battle damage. Essentially, Optimus Prime as he is dead. Thank you, RoboSen. That's the thing we didn't really need, but you brought our nightmares back.
Oh yes, oh yes, and they are really they are rubbing it in our faces. Yeah, I mean, like, we killed Optimus Prime. Here's more of the trauma, and we are releasing another feature that will explore his death further. I don't know what they are going to be pulling up a surprise or something. But anyhow, it happened. It happened. At least it's like 40 years of one of the best Transformers features. In my opinion, that's the best in all of live action and animation, whatever you can call it. Guys, we have a question from our favorite Ladzen. He's saying, what do you guys think about the time jump that will happen in Black Panther 3?
Okay.
Go, guys, go.
Go ahead.
Okay. Uh, no, I mean, like, Super M, Frank, which one of you is more following the details when it comes to these sort of things in the MCU?
We talking specifically about Black Panther 3, right?
Yeah, Ladson is
We,
specifically referring to the time jump that will happen in Black Panther 3.
I mean,
Yeah, I think they
what they did
mentioned
with
that at the.
yeah. I think what they did
Listen,
with
listen.
Black Panther 1 was a great job. Um, and for Wakanda Forever, I didn't feel that they give it justice. I think, in my opinion, I think it's overhated.
Right.
But because one of the like underrated characters appears in that movie, it's Namor.
Neymar,
And
yes.
people, you guys, you should know, like, Namor. It's a great character. Yeah, and he will be appearing in Doomsday. What about the time jump? I don't think. I mean, Marvel. They've been like they mastered the time jump stuff. I don't think it will be like a hard thing to them, and I don't think they will face any difficulties with that. But how are we gonna see the new king of Wakanda? How he will be like affecting the story? How he will be like a really important like member of the MCU? That's what I'm afraid about. But rather than that, I don't. I'm not afraid of the like time jumping stuff.
Okay, Super M, what's your take on the time jump that may happen in Black Panther 3?
Okay, I don't know how it will fit in the MCU. I think you could easily pull that if you will do it in a separate franchise, like the Batman movies. But how would you do that in the middle of the MCU? I don't think I know exactly how are they planning to do that. I didn't like that they are not keep pushing Shuri. Her name is
Shuri.
Shuri, right?
Yes, yes.
The Shuri, yeah. I think I like Shuri really much. I think she's really good. I think Wakanda Forever was a decent movie, as Frank said. I think I liked the movie. So maybe not all of the fans liked it, but I think they should have stick more with Shuri. They should even Captain America with Sam Wilson. I think if you're going to introduce them as the new characters, you have to keep pushing them until people accept them. I don't think people hate them. Maybe Shuri less much than Sam Wilson. I don't not against having a new king. I think it will be such fun. I think T'Challa was very good, very great actor, no doubt about that. I don't know who are they casting for the new movie, but we're looking. Inshallah, it will be a good decision.
Okay, Son of Sparda, what's your take on that?
All right, I have a somewhat non-popular take. Well, it's not mine personally, but I've read this online. I've heard people say this, and I somewhat agree with it. Is that, the character of Black Panther is bigger than, with all due respect to Chadwick Boseman. He did a fantastic job. We absolutely loved his performance, but I feel like the character is bigger than the actor. So instead of killing him off on screen like the actor died, perhaps we should have just recast instead of saying, "Oh, he had a son, and we got to wait for him to grow up, and then he's going to become the new Black Panther." Because I feel like we're just doing the same theme. Like in the first movie, he was solidifying himself as the Black Panther, and then the second movie, Shuri was solidifying herself as the new Black Panther, and now we're going to get again a new character solidifying himself as the new Black Panther. So I wish they would have just said in the second movie, we got a new actor. Here he is. He's got big shoes to fill, but he's going to try and do his best, because I feel like they had a long term plan for this character, and it's been overshot by the tragic death of Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, but how do
Yeah.
you? I mean, like, does this address the question that was asked by one of our community members about the time jump?
I don't. Did they ever confirm it's going to be a time? I mean, I think what they did is they just grew him up really fast. We saw him in Black Panther 2 as a child, and then we're going to see him in the next Black Panther as a well, sort of an adult, maybe a teenager, maybe he's in his early 20s. But I don't think did they ever say it's going to be a time jump? Because we've had one before where they said, after Endgame. It's been a couple of years at the beginning of Endgame, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Did they ever confirm and say we're gonna move forward a couple of years?
I think what they might be referring
Not
to,
not by the company.
not by the company, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Hmm.
what Ladson may be referring to is the fact that, like,
He's an
how
adult now.
many years ago did we watch Wakanda Forever,
Yeah,
and we see in the post credit scene or the mid credit scene that T'Challa has a son.
yeah.
Okay, and now we're going to be seeing Black Panther 3 in 2028. So if that kid was like 5 years old at max, if I
Mm,
look at the movie, so
yeah.
how do you justify him being 18 and above?
I think he just ate a lot of that Wakandan fruit and grew up really fast.
Lads and
like
gents, that's your answer.
Toby's Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Simple, straightforward. That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, guys. Now the biggest topic that is like that's how should I say kind of wha- a complication, if you will. Why do I say complication? Is that Spider-Man up until yesterday has recorded $1.7 billion in box office earnings.
That's a lot of
And
zeros.
yeah,
Whoa.
and it's pretty close to crossing the $2 billion mark. The
Oh
question
my
here
god.
is the question here is we're seeing Spider-Man breaking records in the movie side of things. Spider-Man 2 game, again, it was already a super hit game. Its sales skyrocketed because of the movie once again. And but when it comes to Spider-Man comics, things are really bad. Super M.
I think people lost faith in Marvel comics in general. I think especially with Spider-Man. Peter Parker always struggled. It's his curse. In every story, you will see Peter Parker struggle. I
Right.
think in the last decade, we see Peter Parker struggle for real. We see Spider-Man struggle with the writers, how the company regulate his comic. I think
Right.
people are pissed. The last time I read Spider-Man comic that are new, aside of the Ultimate Spider-Man from the main world, was when Zeb Willis was writing the stories. So from I think that's 2 3 years now.
But do you enjoy the
Yeah,
work of Zeb Wells, for example?
no, I didn't. I didn't give him the full chance, to be honest, to give him his right. I didn't read until the end. Man, how could I? For me, it was terrible. I didn't like it. I respect each opinion. I know that there are certain people who loved it, but I'm not one of them. So I think Spider-Man is moving upward very great in the movies, in the games, as a merchandise.
Yeah.
But when you look at the comic, I think people need a boost of trust.
Okay. We just had a comment coming in from one of our well-known community members, the guy who is responsible for Discover Jeddah. He's saying X-Men season 2 is on another level. Okay, thank you, Ali, for sharing that, because we're going to be talking about X-Men 97 season 2 shortly. Frank, what do you say about the uh, this unbalancing act of Spider-Man between comics, games, and movies?
Uh, first time I was introduced to Spider-Man comics was by Subrem. He told me to read the Ultimate Spider-Man, and I really liked it. Then I wanted to go deep inside the comics of Spider-Man because I know Spider-Man like in movies and animated series and games. So I wanna have some taste in the comics. So I've read Craven Last Hunt. It was amazing. It was great. One of the coolest comics I've ever read. But the new stuff I've
I'm
been
very
avoided
proud.
because you guys and a lot of people was warning me not to read new stuff for Spider-Man because I will be disappointed. So I've been avoiding and ignored a lot of that. But I've read some like pages from Spider-Man and Superman collaboration that they did the new stuff.
Ah, okay,
Just
right.
yeah, just to see like what is going on, because I'm a huge fan of collaboration. Like even if not like there's no like there's not a lot of collaboration that is it's been really good. I've read Batman and Punisher. I've read Deadpool and Batman, but like I was like curious, and it was okay, and it was decent.
It was
So there's
okay.
no comparison. There's no comparison between Spider-Man and live actions and animation and video games with comics. There's no comparison.
Okay, Son of Sparda, what would you like to say?
Well, I think it's safe to say that the reason Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be hitting the $2 billion mark is because the four of us went to see it about 200 times each in theaters. Yep. But Marvel, we need our paycheck, please. Um, but also, I feel like, guys, what encourages people who are maybe not even in the comic book community to check out a comic book is the positive word of mouth. And like we heard that Absolute Batman was the best-selling novel of 2025. People rushed out to check it out. I haven't heard anything about the new Spider-Man before. I think the last time I heard something about a good Spider-Man comic was Ultimate Spider-Man that you guys were talking about, where he's older, he doesn't have his powers. He settled into a life of being a family man, and then he slowly starts to get back into it. So I feel like a lot of people related to that. They were like, "Oh, this is interesting. We didn't imagine an older Peter would become Spider-Man." So that was really interesting. I feel like Marvel itself, comics, is in a transitioning phase. They just moved to the West Coast. So hopefully, once they get settled, they can get back to giving us great stories again.
Okay. Before
I want to make something clear, please.
yeah, but before that,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Super M, show us what you were showing earlier. Bring it close to the camera. You were showing a few items. Bring it closer to the camera.
Oh, that's cool.
The Happy Meal backpacks. Beautiful. I like the
Nice,
yellow one. I love
nice.
the yellow.
The
Yeah,
yellow
yeah.
is cool.
Yes, Super M, you were saying?
I think I have. Yeah, me and Son of Sparda were talking about the new Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but the one Saad or Frank read was the older Ultimate Spider-Man.
Mm.
I think it was by Benedict. I can't
Bendis.
remember
Brian
his name.
Michael Bendis. Brian Michael Bendis.
Bendis, yeah, yeah, Bendis. The Guardians of the Galaxy guy. Yeah,
Okay.
Thor, Venom.
Sorry, continue, Super M. Sorry.
No, no, no.
Uh,
That was it.
okay, you just wanted to clarify which Ultimate Spider-Man Frank was referring to. That happens to be one of the best
Yeah.
works by Brian Michael Bendis. In fact, if anyone is interested, you guys can also check out Ultimate Marvel Team Up, which was written by Brian Michael Bendis. There is an amazing three-part or four-part story which involves Spider-Man, the Punisher, and Daredevil. This is
Frank
like the
Castle.
best, and Captain America also.
Also Frank Castle. Frank Castle. I think there is an
Frank
issue
Castle,
with Frank
yes,
Castle.
Frank Castle is in there. Yes, yes, you're right. Okay, before I share my thoughts, I just want to read out another message from Ali Al Minai. Habaib, awesome to see you guys live. Keep it up. So thank you, Ali, for always being there, for supporting us from through chats and viewing our content and everything, and what you're doing for Discover Jeddah makes us proud. The thing is, guys, when I was watching the movie, uh, throughout the time, every scene was taking me back to the comics I grew up reading. And one of the reasons why this movie hit me so hard was the fact that the first ever comic book for Spider-Man that I got was the Amazing Spider-Man number 202, 202, which had the Punisher and Spider-Man. So the dynamics was something that, I mean, this was like my first ever exposure of Spider-Man, and it was with the Punisher. And as time passed, I read a lot of stories that involved the Punisher, that involved Daredevil, so many other street level heroes. And then I read the old issues that we saw the tarantula, appearance of the tarantula, we saw Tombstone. Uh, I was just like remembering while I was watching the movie that there was a time that you could not let go of a Spider-Man issue. It didn't matter if the villain was the A-list villain or an unknown. The story was just amazing every month. And here we are right now. We watched, I loved the movie. I'm gonna ask you guys what was your take on the movie. I loved it, but it was really sad for me to see that we are in a time that comics for Spider-Man are struggling, while the video game and the live action movie, as well as the animation, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man animation, was amazing. So please, Super M, I'll start with you on this one. What was your take on the movie? How did you feel? Because you are a comic book reader like the rest of us. What was your feeling?
Okay. So now we're rating the movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I think my general feeling was that I loved the movie, as as the other 2 billion people who, as the other $2 billion that are coming in to
Right.
Disney and Sony. I hated certain decisions that made my experience not fully good. I think if I'm gonna rate it from 1 to 10, it will be a 7. And hear me out. I will tell you
Yeah.
why.
Please.
But
Please
let me
proceed.
first say why I love that. Thank you. Let me first tell you why I like that movie. I think you guys mentioned in your review that you think it's one of the best Spider-Man movies, and it's very close to be the best adaptation of Spider-Man. I think I don't disagree with that. I very much loved the first hour of the movie. The first half of the movie was, as they say, chef's kiss. You know,
Chef.
it's a special dish. So it was amazing. I was just sitting there, and I'm seeing my best dream happen in front of me in the big screen. I loved how they were focusing on Peter's struggling, on Peter's story, and how you see the behind the scenes of Spider-Man. You see him swing through the city. You see him deal with the cops. You see him, I don't know, miss his old friends. I think it was a blast. It was a very good first hour. Uh, I loved Scorpion. Man, Scorpion is so good. He's such a good, talented actor. I loved him from Better Call Saul. He presented the character Nacho. I think his name was Nacho. He's a very talented actor. I hoped if we could see more of him in the movie, but that's fine. We could see him, inshallah, in the next movie. I think if anyone got out of the cinema with a good feeling, with a general of good feeling, loving Spider-Man, so the movie delivered on that. My
Okay.
problem starts with the second hour of the movie. I think I hated that they used this movie to as an introduction to the X-Men movies. I don't hate X-Men, man. I love X-Men to death. I love Jean Grey. I just wasn't in favor of choosing Jean Grey as the villain of the movie.
Right.
I think the character took nearly half an hour just to introduce her. I think in that time we should have another villain, another Spidey villain, like Scorpion. If we had Scorpion for the last 30 minutes, man, it would be great fights. Um, he would have a problem with Peter Parker. He would have a problem with Spider-Man. And that's my problem with Jean Grey. Her problem, her issues wasn't with Peter until the end of the movie. Then it got personal with Spider-Man. So I loved how they ended the movie, how
Right.
he dealt, how he was dealing with her, how they brought Aunt May back. It was very good. I loved Frank Castle. Man, we have Frank Castle here, but I'm talking about the John Bernthal one. He's a
Yeah,
very talented actor.
no doubt, no doubt.
When you're dealing dealing with movies, you're dealing with human beings. Okay, so when you put Tom Holland and John Bernthal on one screen, what is he doing?
No, no, continue, Superman.
Okay. Okay. When you put Tom Holland and John Bernthal on the screen, you could easily see the connection between them. You could see how much of good friends they are. The chemistry is undeniable. Man, you could see from the screen how much close friends they are. And it
True.
shows. It shows very good. Frank Castle added, I don't know why I'm referring to cooking, but added a flavor, special flavor to the movie. The fun, the comedy, even the arguing with Peter. Each one of them is presenting his own principles. So, in general feeling, I love the movie. Hated certain decisions, but yeah, I loved it.
Okay, Son of Sparda, please share your thoughts on the movie.
So I wanted to show you guys last night. I didn't know I was going to go see the movie again, but I had some extra time while I was before I went to sleep, and I went to bought this shirt. So on the front we have the logo, and then on the back, here's a surprise.
Oh my.
Whoa.
Let's freaking
Oh.
go. That's a
You always
badass,
deliver.
man.
What's it say up here?
Man, you always
Yep,
deliver.
call Frank Castle.
Call Frank
So
Castle.
yep. So I
Amazing,
wore that.
beautiful.
I wore that to the movie theater. People were impressed and were like, "Oh!" As I was buying it, it was up on the shelf and it was hung on a half mannequin body. And as I was buying it, I told the people who worked there, "Could you get that shirt for me?" And as I was buying it, another person there saw me buying it and was like, "Can you also get me one?" So
Wow.
that was cool. I again, Marvel, I'm moving your merchandise for you, so you're welcome. So So, guys, this was I feel like the most emotionally investing movie for Spidey since Spider-Man 2. And I've told the story before that when I first saw Spider-Man 2, I was a kid and it didn't really resonate with me. And then a couple of years later, I went back and watched it again. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy, he can't pay his bills. He has to take care of his aunt. He is trying to hook up with the girl of his dreams who is engaged. There's so much stuff going on in his life, and there are parallels at the time going on with the villain Doc Ock, who also had a tragedy where he had this accident and his wife died, but he's resorting to stealing and hurting people. So I love it when there are some parallels going on between the hero and the villain, and we absolutely had that in this movie where Peter was going through stuff and Jean was going through stuff, but they both dealt with it in their own different way. And then by the end of the movie, Gene was starting to see why Peter is the way he is, why he's dealing with these things the way he does, and why he chose to be alone for so many years. So it was a bit of a gut punch to go through this movie and to go through all these emotions. And we think it's going to be a happy ending, but no, MJ and Peter don't end up together. So it was an emotional ride, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And yeah, man, I hope we get a couple more Spidey movies out of Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Okay, I'm gonna go now to Frank Castle, the guy who loves the Punisher. Okay, and I saw the sparkle in his eyes when Son of Sparda showed the T-shirt. Frank, what's your take on
Frank,
this
when
movie?
you start talking, you have to say, "Let me tell you something."
Let me tell you that. No, 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 no. um,
I'll start with a banger. I'll start with a hot take.
Right.
John Barthel is the worst Punisher. Let's move on. Um, I'll get to that
Zulm.
when I done
Zulm.
like when I done with the movie. One of the greatest Spider-Man movies of all time. I really loved it, but I cannot imagine a world where this movie is better than Spider-Man 2. There's no way. Like Son of Sparda said, and thank you for saying that. Spider-Man 2, such a like I have no words to describe what happened in Spider-Man 2. That the fact that, like you said, he was struggling, and he was struggling with his college. He was like been absent in a lot of classes. He was struggling with his powers. The scene when he like went to a like a firing house and he helped the kid when he doesn't have powers. It was such a like I don't know what to say about that movie. So for me, it will be like the best Spider-Man movie of all time. But this one, it could be easily be two or three. Okay. I really loved that movie. That movie showed us. There's a lot of stuff that showed us that we needed. First of all, we needed to see that Tom Holland deserved to be a Spider-Man and deserved to be a Peter Parker. And for me, like Tom Holland is the best Peter Parker that happened in live action. That's my opinion. But as a Spider-Man, like I'm with Toby. But like the movie showed us that Tom Holland deserves to be Spider-Man, to deserve that role, and he's a really great actor, despite all the negative comments that was towards him. Second of all, they showed us that MJ that I didn't like in the like last three movies, but now I really liked her on the screen. I really liked that I'm seeing her acting, and maybe because she doesn't know Peter Parker, that's why I liked her. But I don't know. They showed us a really, really good Bruce Banner or Hulk because I've missed the Hulk since the Incredible Hulk in 2008, and that's my favorite Hulk. But like when he was like fighting Spider-Man, it was that was like I was so happy because they didn't do justice to Bruce Banner's Hulk and the MCU in the last movies, and they give us like a really amazing Scorpion. Uh, the movie is so amazing. They adapt from the games. They adapt from the comics. There's a lot of stuff. The suit, the movement. The director was cooking. That's one of the beautiful things that I've seen in that movie. Like a movie, 3 hours long movie, a superhero movie. It's maybe you will be like suspicious, but they did really good job. I love the movie and all like levels, except for the level that makes me really sad and makes me really angry. It's the Punisher.
Okay. Okay, Frank, I want to touch upon a very important topic from the local market standpoint, and then I'll proceed to other panelists. Uh, Spider Man has is the highest grossing movie in Saudi Arabia upon its release. Superman by James Gunn was the third highest grossing movie on its release. Do you see that the superhero fandom has sent a strong message to the companies, the businesses that are operating in the kingdom, but they are not taking superhero fandom guys like us seriously? What's your take?
Um, it's you absolutely right. As you said before, was like they've been even after like Martin Scorsese's comment on the superhero movies. When he said it's I don't know the word in English, Malahi. It's a park. So he was like saying that like he was preferring that they're not movies, they're not films.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
they're not.
after, yeah,
Yeah.
after that, they've been like proven everyone was wrong, especially here in Saudi Arabia, because you said in Saudi Arabia, for Spider-Man Brand New Day, we visited two major events, one in the cinema and one in Diriyah. And you know, Diriyah, it's a really like a place with a lot of events, but they did a Spider-Man Brand New Day event that we attended and covered with the
For
4TDC
4 days.
team. Yeah, for 4 days, and that shows how much comic book movies, superhero movies are like being affected on the industry, and that really makes me happy. They now see how important they are. But like for the companies, I think they know already because they will had millions and millions of dollars, even if the movie is not good. But the name that held the movie will like help them bring money.
Okay. Super M, what's your take on this?
I think it definitely send and set a very strong message that uh, the community of comics in Saudi is enormous, is larger than companies might think. Um, Fox Cinemas is operating on 24/7 now for Spider-Man to show Spider-Man all the time. I think that's a very, very big message that an IP like Spider-Man is very hard. It's very hard to miss. I would love to see a Comic Con in Saudi. I think Ghazi would love that. I
Yes.
would love to see more campaigns about Spidey. As Frank Castle mentioned, we saw the Diriyah event. It was very fun to watch that. I didn't attend it, but I saw the pictures, the videos,
He
and
was in
there were
Paris.
a lot of.
Français,
It was
vive
a
les
bad.
vies
Yeah, I
français.
got this. Yeah, I got this cup from Disneyland. What do you think?
Oh my, oh boy, oh boy,
Uh,
oh. Man,
do you see it?
yes, we do. Yes, we do. I think that's Steve Ditko or John Romita's art, I think.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I'm
So
jealous, man.
that's why when I watched the movie, everyone on the cinema was wearing something for Spidey, costumes, masks. It was very fun. It was very good to watch that.
Okay, and now I'm gonna ask Son of Sparda, what's your take?
Uh,
Because these are big numbers when we are talking about uh, the Arab world's largest economy, Saudi Arabia, and one of the movies is the highest grossing movie upon release. The other one that preceded it by a year was the third highest grossing movie. So, what's your take on that, Son of Sparda?
man, well, in general, there's not any superhero movie fatigue. There's, you know, we're tired and fatigued of movies that just aren't good.
Yeah.
So I want to give an example of Supergirl. There wasn't a whole lot of advertising for her. The story didn't come together all that well. This flowed very nicely. This movie, from beginning to end, with Peter's struggles, with the various villains. I was thinking maybe it's going to be overcrowded because we got Scorpion, a bunch of other villains in the beginning of the movie, and then we move on to Hulk and Punisher. There are so many characters in this movie, but they managed to find a
Tombstone.
perfect bet. Tombstone's in it
Tombstone,
for a little
yes.
bit, but they managed to find a perfect balance for everyone, and it all came together very nicely towards the end. You know, I feel like the emotional resonance of everything that happened towards the end of the movie was amazing. I loved it, and I feel like the people loved it. We had a lot of people show up to our watch party. We're going to be talking about that later on, but It's a great sight to see everyone come together and join in harmony for these comic book properties.
Our watch party was sold out 2 days before the show, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to come at, because the thing is, I have noticed some of the things that did take place in our country, and they were quite disappointing, to say the least. For example, Kita, the food delivery app, they had an amazing campaign in the UAE, but nothing in Saudi Arabia for Spider-Man Brand New Day. McDonald's, uh, even in Qatar, I think they are giving away these Spider-Man figures. Those
Figures,
beautiful
yeah.
figures where he is hanging and stuff. But in Saudi Arabia, initially I was under the impression that maybe the Western region representatives of McDonald's were only giving away the web shooting backpacks. But it turns out that in entire kingdom we don't have those figures at all. Then we are talking about BMW. BMW was promoting its Series 5 all over the world, but in Saudi Arabia, they are promoting their EV with this car. Sorry, for this movie. And last but certainly not the least, while it is commendable, the effort was commendable to basically launch Spider-Man in Daraya, to launch Spider-Man in Mantakat Tarikhiya, the historic district of Al Balad. My biggest problem is that when cities like Jeddah and Riyadh have a beautiful skyline, why wasn't there any activation taking place where s- we would have a stuntman dressed as Spider-Man?
Fireworks.
Come again?
Fireworks. Are you talking about fireworks?
Not fireworks. I'm just talking about, launching Spider-Man in places like Boulevard, Riyadh, in places like Faisalia Tower,
Okay, yeah.
okay, the Kingdom Tower. In Jeddah, if you went to the historic district of Al Balad, which is ancient, rather
Son of
than going
Jeddah.
there, go to the
So so
vintage urban
sorry
side of
to
Al Balad.
interrupt.
No worries, Frank, please.
They did advertise it in Kingdom Tower. It was like
Not
a
advertising,
huge Spider-Man.
No, no,
not
no. Just,
advertising.
just showed on the screen, not advertised. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
activation. Like have a guy, a stuntman dressed as Spider-Man, pose with the Kingdom
Yeah, yeah,
Tower,
yeah,
pose with Al
yeah,
Faisalia Tower, and we
yeah, yeah,
have
yeah. Great.
Boulevard City in Riyadh, man, which is built, which is inspired by Times Square in New York. That was the best venue for launching Spider-Man.
Exactly.
So I, for one, have been really shocked and disappointed by the business community in our country, where they simply were either under the impression that nobody loves superheroes in Saudi Arabia, number one. Number two, if there are anyone who loves superheroes in Saudi Arabia, they are only little children. And it's a huge
Yeah.
opportunity that has been lost. They did it with Superman, and now they did it with Spider-Man. So, Frank, what do you
Yeah.
say on that?
I think you're absolutely right. But I'll be optimistic about it. Like we are getting there, yeah, step by step. A slow step, yes, but like I can see some little like improvement. But the thing is, and that's really what I hope, and that's really what I'm working on. That we guys, all of us, the community, will continue our work. Will continue the things we do to show them that we deserve the support. We deserve the that we can like give the ideas that will help improve this community and to be advertising like for example Son of Jeddah. I don't think you have like an advertising or marketing background, but you gave an amazing idea about Spider-Man being in Times Square and Boulevard. That means not because you studied marketing, but because you love that job and you love that community, and because you're really passionate about it. So you give an idea. So I think they should put the right people in the right place and make them do ideas and give ideas like the one you did, and it will be like it will be something that the world the whole world will talking about.
Son of Sparda, what's your take on this particular point?
I will be more than happy to answer you. I was just wondering, would you mind if I gave my take about this issue and gave a rapid fire about everything else, just because they're going to stop serving breakfast downstairs in a little bit. So I want to do that and also then catch up on the main event later on. They're going to be starting.
Okay. So yeah, please go ahead.
All right. So yeah, guys, as you know, in Saudi we only got theaters about I want to say maybe 7, 8 years ago. 2018 or 19 is when we first started getting theaters and movies. Um,
2017.
Yeah, yeah.
2017.
Enjoys it. Yep. So we are relatively new in the market. I feel like the people who are advertising, I don't know if uh, they have if they've been giving a budget to do something as big as the stuff we would imagine where other countries are doing. But hopefully they do. Hopefully at some point they realize that these are huge franchises, that other countries are doing amazing things, and we're going to catch up to them eventually, and maybe even succeed them. You know, we're building two of the world's tallest towers in the world. One in Jeddah that's going to be completed soon. The next one's going to be in Riyadh. So hopefully that by the time the next movie comes along, we will have stunt people hanging from those buildings.
There's a stark contrast because when you look at, for example, the company that owns Vox Cinemas, Majid Al Futtaim, what they did in Dubai and what they did in Saudi Arabia, what they did in the UAE, what they did in Saudi Arabia, the disparity is huge.
Yeah.
Uh, Super M, what do you have to say on that part?
Uh, yeah, I think I agree with Son of Sparta that maybe the guys on marketing doesn't have or don't have the right budget for it. But I think we have another problem, which is I think the companies, the movies companies, the cinemas companies, they don't work before the movie hits. They realize it after it hits. I think
Yes.
they don't foresee it before. They don't analyze. Okay, who's going to be there for Spider-Man? Is the community good enough? Are they going to be a large landscape? Are they going to attend to the movies? Are they going to pay a lot of money? The movie is going to cross $2 billion in what, couple of weeks? It's crazy. Spider-Man is one of the biggest IPs in the world. So
Yes.
I think it's it's a common problem, not just in Saudi, that the companies think, okay, comic books that's for children, that's a happy meal, and that's it, nothing more than that. But I think this movie will send a massive uh, message that it's not like this. This is not the case.
Okay. Next topic is Transformers 1986 movie 40th anniversary celebration. So, Son of Sparda.
Yes, thank you. I'm gonna cover this one. I have got my notes in front of me. Do you guys still hear me? Because I opened up the other
Yes,
app.
we can hear you.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can
yeah,
hear
yeah,
you, but
yeah,
we
yeah.
can't see you.
Oh yeah, probably because the camera can't work with while I'm using the other app. All right, so I'm gonna go
Okay,
through these very quickly if you don't mind. Uh,
please.
Yeah,
so
take your time.
guys, for those of us who were there for the first time this movie showed in theaters, a lot of us were devastated because what Hasbro did, they killed off all the characters that we love: Optimus Prime, Skyfire, Wheeljack, so many others, Mirage. They just decide kill off these guys so that the kids can buy the new guys for the new movie. So that's what they did. It was terrible, a little too late, but after the movie came out in season 3, Transformers, they realized they made a huge mistake. and Hot Rod was not the leader we imagined, and they brought back Optimus Prime. So it was too little, too late. I think it was the third season was their final one. So hopefully, they are planning something big. The 40th anniversary is bringing back the movie in theaters with added footage. We saw a very quick clip of Optimus Prime in space, slightly moving.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll bridge the gap between what happened at the end of the movie and then how he ends up. I think the next time we see him is he's on a ship that is kind of a tombstone for dead fallen Transformers heroes. So the next thing we want to talk about very quickly, or I'm going to talk about very quickly, is X-Men 97 Season 2. This has been a phenomenal show. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I love how they give a focus to each of the characters. I was talking about how last season there wasn't enough of a focus on Wolverine, and then lo and behold, we got a Wolverine Central episode in this one, and it was fantastic. Um, People are saying the second half of the season wasn't as good as the first half, and they're saying it's because Bo DiMeo wasn't directly involved with the second half. And I mean, for whatever reasons, if that's true or not, guys, I mean, it was an amazing first season. It was an amazing first half of the second season. Let's bring back that magic. I feel like the season finale, it was okay, but I was there like, was that it? I feel like there could have been some more, right? I don't think the ending resonated with a lot of us. And then moving on to My Adventures with Superman season 3. Guys, this is a show. First off, I want to say we're in the year of 2026 where we have a new season of an X-Men show, a new season of a Superman show, a new season of a Batman show, and we're getting a new season of a Spider-Man show, all in the same year. Can you guys imagine? I don't think we've had this much new new animated series since the
Crazy.
90s. So
Yeah,
No,
it's
like
even
amazing.
Spider-Man. Yeah,
Yep,
Like
Spider-Man, my
crazy.
friendly neighborhood Spider-Man is coming back.
yeah.
So, with that said, this show has had a very nice balance of humor and action. I love the time travel aspect of this new season. How we got to see, first of all, Jonathan Kent from the future, aka Superboy, and then he came back a second time with his sister because they changed the future, and then we got a Supergirl, a new version of Supergirl, Lara, who is slight spoiler, if anyone hasn't seen it and you don't want me to spoil it, probably mute your sound. But they are the kids of Lois and Clark before Lois and Clark even got married, so that raises a lot of questions for them. Oh, so I guess we got married and we had kids, and then the future changed a little bit. But we're coming in on the final episode next week. I'm very excited and looking forward to it. And then we got Cape Crusader season 2. I was not expecting it. This is a true return to form Batman, where he is a detective in a noir kind of universe, and I've loved every episode. I think there were maybe one or two episodes where they delved into the supernatural, and that was great. But I think I prefer the detective aspect of it. And then we got a very very different version of the Joker that we have not seen before. This Joker does not laugh.
this Joker
So,
is actually based on the real inspiration of Bill Finger, which was a German actor called
yep,
Conrad Wheat from the
yep,
Golden Age.
yep. And it was terrifying, guys, to see a Joker who is very serious, who doesn't really crack jokes or laugh all of a sudden. He just wanted to ensue chaos. And I enjoyed every minute of it. I hope you guys do. I feel like, on the business side of things, I feel like it makes sense to not release it all the episodes at once. I feel like it keeps people talking, like we are right now with My Adventures of Superman and X-Men 97. I feel like when you keep it going week to week, that's when people keep talking the most, right? I feel like they dropped all the episodes at once, and so maybe there wasn't enough hype. But it's an amazing show. Please go check it out. It's worth every second.
Okay, Son of Sparda, before you leave,
Yep.
I just want your take on the most recommended item or items that were displayed by Hot Toys during San Diego Comic Con?
Oh my gosh, dude. This is the first time, the first year where I might be getting every single announcement just because, we recently reviewed the comic book Hot Toys Doom figure. And I thought, you know
Yes.
what? They're just going to add in a Robert Downey Jr. head sculpt for the new one. But no, we got a lot of effect parts for Doom. Oh, I'm not sure if it comes with a head sculpt yet. They're going to officially announce that later on, maybe. They said there's a missing accessory, so hopefully we'll get that. But the bases, man, I've always wanted, and they are also doing a 1/6 scale Sentinel. So I've always wanted the classic fist Sentinel base because Magneto has a cover, I believe, where he's sitting on a Sentinel fist as a throne, and it looks amazing. So I'm going to use that fist for Doom and give it to Magneto. So I'm excited for all these. The effect parts for Cyclops looked phenomenal. He's got one where he's swishing to the side, his optic blast. He's got one where he's going forward. I just want one where he doesn't have the visor on, like in the trailer, where he takes it off and a
Oh, you
huge beam comes up.
you
Go ahead.
wanted to talk announce the brand new day Hot Toys series.
Yes.
Tell us about.
So these figures are already up for pre-order. They were announced a little bit before Comic-Con as the movie was coming out. They have Hot Toys Hulk, which looks amazing. He's big and he's buff, and he has for the first time in a Hulk figure, the body is mostly seamless, and what that means is you don't see the gaps in the shoulders and the legs. I think the only place where there are seams is in the fist because they're interchangeable, and the head because he has two heads. But otherwise, the entire body is seamless. And then we get Spidey himself. He comes with a coat and a key to the city and a cool base that has a scorpion tail popping up. So that's very cool. For the first time in I can't remember when, this Spy doesn't come with a head sculpt. No Tom Holland. I'm told there are legal issues that they're trying to sort out. Uh, I guess Tom is asking for more money. Get my face for more money. Something
As
like
he
that.
should. As he should.
Yep, yep. I think and a new Punisher. We're getting two Punisher figures announced this year for Hot Toys. One from one Last Kill, and one for this movie. So it's a really big year for Punisher collectors who are really excited to get one in their hand and do a bunch of poses. So I'm probably going to be getting Hulk and Spidey
Awesome.
just because
Son of
I already have a
Sparda,
Punisher. Yep.
Son of Sparda, we are grateful to you for joining us so early in the morning because it's like now 8 a.m. in Chicago.
Yep.
And we are anxiously looking forward to all the surprise announcements that you are going to be making for the
I'm
community.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna tease what I'm gonna be doing with this guy. Guys, this is a one-half
Yeah.
scale bust for Dark Knight Returns. I'm sorry,
Dark Knight,
and
exactly.
yep, and it's super heavy. The base is heavy. The cowl is heavy. I don't know what they made this out of, but I'm gonna be getting this signed by a very special person. Should we just say who?
No, no, just leave it at that because we
Uh,
need
uh,
to reveal it during our Batman Day gathering, which will happen in Jeddah, inshallah, in September.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah.
thank you so much, Son of Sparda. And
Thank
my
you.
pleasure.
please go
Son of
get the
Sparta,
most important.
we will talk about the Jumper of the Punisher in the future.
You're
Inshallah.
breaking my heart, man. Oh, and let me show you guys a shirt I'm wearing right now. Might change, but this is a lot of characters in one shirt.
Is
Marvel
it DC or
characters.
Marvel? Because I can't
Uh,
make out
This
which
is
one.
Marvel. I got Hulk down there. That's the most
Yeah, yeah.
biggest guy I can
Doctor
see.
Strange, yeah.
Strange, yeah.
And then Spider-Man,
As
Iron Man,
well.
the Avengers are up front. Yeah, I think
Mabruk,
like
That's
Habibi.
cool, man.
yeah.
Mabruk.
Oh, I've had this
Thank
Mabruk.
you
before.
for the
I
bro.
don't think I've showed this off before. But you guys have yourself a good day, and I will share what has inspired in these next couple of days.
Have a
We're
great
looking
day, man.
forward to it.
Thank you.
Enjoy,
Thank
man.
you guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, Habibi.
You guys probably don't know that, but because he's in Chicago. I'm a huge Chicago Bulls fan.
Because of Michael Jordan, huh?
Yeah,
Best
unfortunately.
years, best years, best
CM
years.
Bank also.
Okay, guys, let's come back to the topic. So, uh, since you guys are representing the young generation, what do you guys have to say about the love for Transformers, especially the Generation One, which we are often referring to us old geezers? What do you guys have to say about it? I mean, like, is the younger generation, the younger community, younger members of the community, as excited for Transformers the movie's 40th anniversary?
Go Subaram.
Okay. I don't
You
think.
you represent the younger audience more than me.
Yeah, but he doesn't. Frank is not is not a younger generation.
98. Come on.
Habibi,
Uh,
Frank is like young adult. You are young,
Young
he is
adult,
young adult.
a very late teen, a very late teen.
So yeah.
I think yes, the younger generation, the newer generations, loves Transformers. I think Michael Bay did a great gift for all the Transformers because man, those movies were so fun. I think the first Transformers movie is one of my favorite of all time. Not for the sake of the plot as much as for the sake of fun. You know, you're hearing Linkin Park, you're seeing Megan Fox, you're seeing a bunch of droids. I don't know how you call them. I think droid or something like that. Cars.
Auto, okay.
Yeah. What were you going to say? Autobots.
Autobots and Decepticons.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call them Autobots.
Autobots. Yeah. Um, I think I love to see Optimus Prime. I didn't watch the show where he died, but now I am pissed. Thanks to Son of Sparda, I'm very pissed. They shouldn't do that. I think the movie with Chris Hemsworth, the Transformers one, I think it's called,
Yes.
uh, did a really great push. I haven't seen it. I'm so pissed about that also. I think that's on my behalf. I haven't watched it on cinema and I missed it. But I think I will see it. I think it's on Netflix. But I think yes, the new generation. When you deliver to the new generation, when you make a new shows and movies for them, they will always be interested in old IPs.
Agreed. Frank.
Um, as many of a lot of people, I got introduced to the Transformers world by Michael Bay in 2007
Right.
and Shia LaBeouf. But I don't think the new generation know how good the Transformers world before that. Because after I saw the movies, I was invested in like going to search and read comics and watch the shows, and it's a like amazing world. Like you have no idea how great it is. Like for example, one of the comics that I read, it's called I think you Son of Sparda, you will know it. Regeneration One. I think that's the name of the comics. It was amazing. The Transformers show was great. Um, that world need to be introduced to the young generations. Not only the Michael Bay movies and the movies after that, but yeah, we do love them, and in sake of nostalgia, yes. But if you love the real Transformers, you should check out the previous like work before that. And I think Son of Jeddah will help me mention to people or give recommendations to people who doesn't know. There's a lot of Transformers before Michael Bay movies, and yeah, I think it needs to be like published more and more.
Super M, you wanted to say something?
I think he would agree with me on this. But if you want to recommend something for any Transformers fan, or someone who wants to be a Transformers fan, man, you should read the 2023 comics. That run is so great.
Agreed.
From the draw to the story, man, Optimus Prime is a Superman level character.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, as Frank was saying, I just want to give a small tip for all of the younger members of our audience. If you want to get introduced to the Generation 1 Transformers, you need to start out with the animated series and the comics that were written by Bob Budiansky. Because remember, Transformers comics like G.I. Joe comics were being published, written, illustrated by Marvel Comics back in the 1980s, and some of the greatest stories have been produced. In fact, there is one comic where Spider-Man actually goes up against Megatron, and I'm not talking about the 2004 IDW collaboration. I'm talking about the actual Marvel project that happened in the 1980s, the first ever encounter. The 1980s animated series episodes are all available on Hasbro's official channel on YouTube, so you can watch all the way from season 1 to season 3. But make sure to watch Transformers 1986 movie, because that was a game changer back in the day, where we actually learned a tragic reality about life. And that also inspired G.I. Joe, the movie, but it didn't receive that much of a success as Transformers 1986 movie did. But at the same time, as Superman correctly pointed out, the 2023 comic book series is another critical acclaim, which is
Yeah.
going back to the roots of the 1980s for the Transformers franchise, as well as GI Joe, because both are have been relaunched. Okay, guys, you both of you mentioned one thing, that as long as content is gonna be made, as long as IPs will remain relevant to the younger generation, things will be successful. Projects are gonna be successful. And as Son of Sparda, before he left, said that, like, we are in a time where we are seeing things happening one after the other. Okay, we had My Adventures with Superman, then came X-Men 97 animated series, then came the Cape Crusader. Since we are talking about animation, because we started with Transformers 1986 movie, the animation, how is it going for you guys? If you have to pick one series out of the three, from Batman the Cape Crusader, My Adventures with Superman, X-Men 97, which one do you think is more relevant to the young generation, especially in Saudi Arabia? Frank, I'm going to start with you.
If we talking about the sake of popularity in Saudi Arabia,
Yeah.
it will be the bat the Knight of Gotham, of course, Batman, because like comparison to Superman, Batman, and the X-Men, a lot of people knows Batman more, so people will like be relate to Batman more because they you remember the Batman the animated series, so it was in Space Tune. They were like really invested in. But if I had to choose one, it will be like obviously it's a obvious answer. It will be X Men because for me X Men 1997, it's one of, if not, I mean I think it's one of the greatest animated shows of superheroes of all time. So it will be an easy answer for me.
Super M, because you are the youngest of all of us, do you see the same pattern as Frank said?
I think if you will consider as a character, Batman would be the most famous, no doubt about that. But if you're talking about the shows, I think X Men '97 is the one who is the show that resonated with the community, the local community. I think whenever an episode drop, you see the whole timeline of Twitter or X is talking about the episode. I think the first season hit really hard in the community of comics in Saudi. Uh, for me personally, I think I liked my adventures with Superman. I
Mhm.
watched the two first seasons. I watched the first season when it came out, and I think it was revolutionary. It took Superman and presented him with a much modern take. I think that's why it will be more closer to the young generation. I think the X Men '97 is more of a nostalgia show where we would see it as a recall to the '90s.
Right.
Okay, you would see the themes, the characters, all the characters that you loved back in the '90s. For me, I loved the second season of 19. I loved the second season. I didn't
Yeah.
complete it until the
Right.
end. The last three
Yeah.
episodes I didn't watch. But I agree with the common opinion that the first four episodes were pretty great. I loved what they did with Jubilee, with Wolverine, with Magneto. What they did with Magneto and Professor X, it was extraordinary. Even Apocalypse, it was a very great story. I think that's the main problem with X Men '97. That's uh, the problem with the writer. I think he was the head writer that left out the show. I think
Yeah.
they have,
Bio de Mayo. Bio de
yeah,
Mayo.
yeah,
Yes.
the one that had problems. And I think the problems is after he left, and he he said a lot of things about the third season. He spoiled the the main ideas of the season, and it doesn't look that good. So I don't know what's going to happen with the show.
With that, our live stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X comes to an end. And as promised, we are now going to be moving to our Patreon, where the patrons will have the opportunity to have a discussion with our esteemed panelists, both Super M and Frank Castle, about the topics that we discussed today or any other topic related to superheroes. So, thank you to each and every one of you who joined in, who
Thank you,
shared their
man.
comments. Thanks to our panelists, Frank Castle, Super M, for
Much
taking out the
appreciated.
time. It's our pleasure to have you guys, and inshallah there is more on the way. So for those of you who want to join our exclusive discussion, you want to have questions and answers, please head straight to the Patreon. I've shared the link in the comments below as well as in the description where applicable. So until next month, uh, have a wonderful weekend.